Hey everyone, I'm Mariana, and I did not expect to be as entertained by Conclave as I ended up being. To be honest, the first thing I thought when I heard about this movie was Oscar bait. Here's the premise. The Pope is dead and someone new must take his place, so the political maneuvering begins. Cardinal Lawrence, played by Ralph Fiennes, is tasked with running this conclave and quickly finds himself at the center of a conspiracy as he uncovers a trail of secrets which could shake the foundations of the church. Very dramatic. Conclave is an interesting movie because on one hand, it's a pulpy political thriller, but on the other hand, it is expertly made with an absolutely killer cast of actors who really dig into their roles. The best way I can describe this is that it's a movie equivalent of a really good airport thriller, which it is based on the novel by Robert Harris, so maybe there is something to this, but I haven't read it, so I can't compare the two. Edward Berger once again directs the hell out of this movie, and I'm not just saying that because I loved what he did with All Quiet on the Western Front and want to give him more praise. This is a very different kind of movie, and the way he's able to take this pretty simple premise and turn it into a captivating dramatic thriller is a pleasure to watch. In the hands of a less capable director, Conclave could have been tedious, dry, and repetitive, but the film grabs your attention right from the opening shots, and you are locked in for the entire runtime as it keeps ramping things up. As soon as the movie starts, there's an instant sense of urgency and tension. It's in the way he captures body language, the way he shows the simplest things like the characters walking, how much is implied without any dialogue, and the score is there to support all of this as well. Another amazing score from the composer of All Quiet, by the way. Not as iconic, but still excellent. The cinematography is also gorgeous. It's honestly unfair how beautiful a lot of these shots look. Granted, the filmmakers are working with a stunning location and a lot of contrast, using so much red, white, and black, with those colors really popping off the screen. They know how to use all of these elements not only to create some breathtaking shots, but also how to make them a part of the storytelling. Visually, really, no notes. And then there is all of the intrigue. The behind closed doors drama of it all that turned out to be so unexpectedly fascinating, at least for me. We start off with small hints. The timeline that seems a bit off. A character immediately calling the shots while also not notifying Cardinal Lawrence of what happened right away. An unverified account of a conversation that took place right before the Pope's death. Things seem immediately suspicious, and it only gets more interesting from there. I also really liked the choice to establish these cardinals as regular men. We see them smoking, going through airport checks, scrolling on their phones, struggling to reconcile their ambitions with the need to do the right thing, getting frustrated, having doubts. Doubts are actually a pretty big theme throughout this movie, and definitely the idea it communicates the best, even if it spells it out pretty blatantly. There are a few characters faced with doubts here, and the concept itself becomes the movie's moral compass, mostly delivered through the character of Lawrence. His doubts lead him on this quest to discovering the truth and actually looking at the candidates critically rather than being swayed by ambition or specific agenda. What's interesting though is that the more Lawrence tries to do the right thing and get to the bottom of what's going on, the more issues he uncovers and the messier things get. This does lead to some funny exchanges though, where his character keeps insisting he's sequestered and should not be influenced, only to turn around and ask multiple people to spill the tea just so he himself can take things further.
Drama, drama, drama.
There is a certain kind of doubt that I wish the movie explored more though. Instead of just bringing it up up a few times and abandoning it, and that is questioning the institution. A very specific distinction is made about a crisis of faith, with the character saying his doubts aren't about God, but rather about the church itself. It's a concept the movie dances around quite a bit, but never really dives into, which is a shame, but I guess to explore that would require a very different movie. What Conclave chooses to focus on is right on the surface. It examines power and ambition, as well as politics behind closed doors, and even though the setup here is very niche and specific, they're electing a new pope, the ideas that are addressed are very universal. Then again, even though the movie wants to address these big themes, it never really examines them, never really addresses anything in depth. It's definitely a thriller above anything else, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but this lack of real depth is what keeps it from being truly great. At the end of the day, the biggest thing Conclave has to say is that only those who do not seek power are qualified to hold it. Speaking of greatness though, we have to talk about the cast and characters, because seeing all of these amazing actors really dig into their roles was such a treat. It's a masterclass in acting, and each of them brings a unique level of complexity and personality to these characters. There is so much fascinating drama happening between them, with some really well-written dialogue, which makes for many riveting character interactions as we get deeper into the inner politics of the church. Ralph Fiennes is undeniably the star, and he is so good at portraying that doubt within himself, that inner conflict that his character requires. He is determined to do the right thing, and as a viewer, you want him to figure it all out and make things right, but sometimes that requires justifying breaking the rules, and that's just fun to watch. Stanley Tucci is fantastic as well. He always brings so much personality to his characters, and Cardinal Bellini is no exception. I could be listing cast members for a while, they're all great, but the last favorite I want to mention is Isabella Rossellini. She has a smaller role, but a very memorable one, and her presence is crucial in a few very important scenes. The final thing I want to mention, without spoilers, is a plot twist, because this movie has one and it just feels odd. Now, I'm not talking about the plot twist itself, but rather the way it was done. It just feels jarring because it's one of those "but you didn't see that thing coming" moments that just happens. It's a non-issue, and then we're over it. Once again, the movie isn't really interested in engaging with this twist or its implications, and it's my understanding that the book is the same way. The movie just throws it at the audience, has a character monologue about it, and moves on. The execution of this is what feels weird. I'm not going to get into how realistic it is, because this entire film involves a decent amount of dramatization. Like I said, it's a pulp thriller, and some people are going to find this controversial. But the people at my screening were audibly confused, and that feeling of, wait, what? Is kind of the last big thing the movie leaves you with. I don't know. I don't think it worked, but you let me know how you felt about it. Look, I love a good thriller, and this one was such a great time. It's not a movie that blew my mind or left me in deep thought, but it's something I found thoroughly entertaining when I didn't expect it to be this entertaining to begin with. It's a very well-made, contained thriller that feels oddly relevant and is a somewhat surprising parallel to American politics. The cast is exceptionally good, the performances are fantastic, the characters are memorable, and the dialogue is sharp. Berger's ability to build tension and maintain urgency, combined with the striking cinematography and pulsating score, make this into a memorable, compelling experience. While it does not try to explore its themes beyond the surface, even a surface-level, dramatized look at power, ambition, and behind closed doors politics is intriguing, especially when it's being elevated by this level of talent on camera and behind the scenes. And honestly, the College of Cardinals has never looked better or had me more interested in their gossip, so that alone was worth my time. But if you're in the mood for something spookier, check out one of these videos next.